contests provides an opportunity for teachers and students to work together to enrich knowledge and skills whose foundation has been laid in Latin and Greek courses. Students derive tremendous benefit from getting to know a passage in depth. They can improve their Latin or Greek pronunciation, analyze how the diction, sounds, and syntax of a passage contribute to its meaning, and apply dramatic skills to interpreting the work of a classical author or story. The passages are intended to expose students to interesting classical works, authors, and stories, as well as to relate to the year's theme. Preparing an oral reading passage takes much work over many weeks or months. Students should begin early in order to have plenty of time to develop and practice their interpretation.
A lot of times oral reading is really hard, and a lot of times you don't understand exactly what you're saying, or it sounds like gibberish, because I know Greek sounds really weird to English speakers, like me especially. But after a while, once you start to get the hang of it, it's really enriching, and you learn a lot more about the language. You get to see how it's used, as opposed to just translating. Get to see how it would have been said, and you understand a lot more grammar. I remember my first oral reading. I know a lot of the grammar I was introduced to earlier through oral reading than when I was taking the Cambridge Latin course. So when that came up, I think it was participles, I was prepared. I'd seen it before, and it wasn't so foreign. Yeah, it's really enriching, and you learn a lot through it.
I think the thing I enjoyed the most about doing oral reading was it forces you to take a small chunk of text and close read it, basically. To look at it over and over and over and over again, read it over and over and over again, spend time picking apart every single line and hearing something new every time, whether it's word order or noticing some assonance or alliteration, instead of just looking at it the way you would normally look at a Latin or Greek text as something that you just need to translate into effective English. You get to see all the shades of meaning and the artistic craft that's gone into producing it, especially with poetry. Listening to the meter and listening to the sounds and all of that. And so that's the thing that's been really great about doing oral reading for me, I think.
And I guess what I love most about oral reading, I guess there are two things I love most about oral reading. I love the sound of Latin when it's read out loud. It's just so beautiful, and I don't know, you don't get that in English or French. It's a completely different sound, and that's, I guess, the number one reason I love it so much. I also love the bizarre characters you meet, the stories you get to read about, some of the crazy voices you get to put on. I've got to do a couple of really fun voices in a few passages that really weren't necessarily the most interesting passages, but I got to make up fun voices for the characters, and that made all the difference. But I guess ultimately I love everything about it. I love the combination of all those different things together.
I think that oral reading is a really great experience to have. It gives you more confidence and facility when speaking in public, but also it joins you to a historical tradition that goes back nearly 3 millennia. These are stories that have been told countless times over centuries, and when you bring them back to life as they were supposed to, read aloud, it really does make a difference, and it helps you to better appreciate what being a Roman or an ancient Greek would have been like. Also, it's a really great way to improve your knowledge of Latin and ancient Greek. I've been doing this a while, and just the progress that I've made in my comprehension and the way that I can read the languages has definitely improved because of oral reading. Because once you take the opportunity to try and get to know a text, you're doing more, and your grasp of the languages gets better too. It's also been a good way to meet new people and to have friendships and rivalries at the same time, but it really is in its spirit of competition, and it is something unique, and I feel that that is a very important thing, and it has been to my life as well. And when you get to the point where you perform a piece and you do really well, there is a huge sense of accomplishment that comes with it.
Oral reading is good because it helps me get over my nervousness. Like, when I'm doing presentations in the class, sometimes I get nervous and I start to shake. But when I did oral reading, I stopped doing that because I got used to presenting in front of people, and I got used to that fear of nervousness when I was speaking in public. And it also helps me to slow down in my presentations, because sometimes I like to speed up and go really, really quickly, but that you can't do that because then people can't understand you and you sound unprepared, and it's just not good for your presentation. Overall, it's also very rewarding in the end because it's a challenge to get your self to be able to pronounce everything correctly and to be able to phrase everything correctly. But in the end, when you have everything strung together like that, you can feel proud of yourself because everything comes together and you can look back on your accomplishment with pride.
Can't assassin we are!